What's up everyone and welcome back to the Commander MTG YouTube channel. I'm your host Jason Com, and today we have a Commander Spotlight where I give you my 10 favorite cards to include in your Miirym Sentinel Wyrm Commander deck. This team or commander is crazy powerful and popular at the moment, and given its ability to create non-legendary tokens when a dragon enters the battlefield, it's no wonder why. Put that ability on a 6/6 flyer with Ward 2 and it makes it difficult to want any other dragon tribal commander. If you like these cards, be sure to check out my budget deck list in the description below. Coming in around $65 gives you a great entry point to try this awesome commander out. Let's get into it. Starting off at number 10 is one of my absolute favorite dragon cards of all time, Drakuseth, Maw of Flames. This 7 mana 7/7 with flying deals 4 damage to any target when it attacks, and 3 damage to 2 other targets as well. Just look at the awesome art this card has. It's so freaking cool. When you play this, you'll have no problem clearing a path for you to swing in or take out your opponent's mana dorks. It's absolutely destructive, and with Miirym, you'll have 2. That means when you attack, you're dealing a total of 20 damage. That is nuts for just 2 attack triggers. Do yourself a favor and play Drakuseth. You will not regret it. Number 9 is a powerful budget inclusion, Displace. This 3 mana instant exiles up to 2 target creatures you control and returns them to the battlefield. This card has so many uses in a deck like this. First off, it acts as protection against your opponent's single target removal spells, keeping your key creatures in play. And second, this deck will be swinging out a lot, potentially leaving you open for a crackback from your opponents. This can be an insane gotcha card, untapping your biggest creatures when your opponents attack you, blocking them, and likely killing them. It'll be a play your opponents will never see coming and can turn the tide of the game in an instant. And third, it activates all the ETB effects this deck runs. Miirym, Scourge of Valkis, Warstorm Surge, etc. With so many uses, this card is an absolute must-have in your deck. Numbers 7 and 8, Garruk's Uprising and Temur Ascendancy. Both of these cards are amazing draw engines for this deck, drawing you a card when a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control. But that's not the only reason to play these cards. They address one of the biggest concerns for mana-heavy creature decks like this, getting damage through quickly. You'll likely spend the first few turns setting up your board and ramping while your opponents may not be playing such mana-hungry decks. Often this can lead you to falling behind on life and damage output. But with these 2 cards, not only will you be able to swing out with Drakuseth you just played, but also the token Miirym created as well, giving your opponents no time to react or set up their defenses. And even if they do, Garruk's Uprising gives all your massive dragons the ability to keep damage coming through, even though they may have blockers. These cards are all stars in any deck that can run them, and an absolute blast in Miirym. Next is numbers 5 and 6, Atarka Worldrender and Thrakus the Butcher. Not only are these cards dragons and on theme, but they also doubled the damage output of all your dragons as well. With Atarka giving your dragons double strike, your opponents will likely not be able to let that much damage go through at once and offer up any blocker they can. Pair Atarka with Garruk's Uprising and it's game over. Thrakus holds just as big a threat, if not greater. When Thrakus attacks, he doubles the power of each dragon you control until the end of turn. Imagine getting 2 of these from Miirym's trigger and attacking with both of them. Their abilities both go on the stack, so if you only attacked with those 2 Thrakus cards, each one would have power 12 with Trample. That is 24 damage pointing at your opponent. In Miirym, this 5 mana uncommon card can kill your opponent in 2 turns if they don't deal with it. Just imagine the damage Atarka and Thrakus could do with a full board. It's absolutely nuts. Next is number 4, Bower Passage. This 2 mana enchantment has creatures with flying can't block creatures you control. That means all your dragons cannot be blocked unless your opponents have reach. And let's be real, no one plays reach. Remember Atarka? With Bower Passage, Miirym, Atarka, and the Atarka token created from Miirym's trigger would deal 36 unblocked damage to your opponents. This card is an absolute menace, and at only 2 mana and 35 cents, it is an absolute must-have in your Miirym deck. Numbers 2 and 3, Dragon Tempest and Warstorm Surge. These cards take advantage of Mirim's ability so well. Warstorm Surge deals damage to any target equal to the power of the creature that entered the battlefield. This means if you have Mirim and Warstorm Surge in play and Drakuseth enters the battlefield alongside a Drakuseth token, you deal 14 damage to any target. Pair Warstorm Surge with Displace, and you can rattle off insane amounts of damage at instant speed. There are so many ways to take advantage of this card, it's crazy, and being able to target anything makes it extremely versatile and lethal. Dragon Tempest follows a similar play pattern. This 2-mana enchantment that gives creatures with flying under your control haste, and when a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. This card enables every aspect of this deck to operate at a blistering pace. Giving your flyers haste helps reduce the latency a mana-hungry deck like this can experience, pumping damage through faster and dealing damage when those dragons enter the battlefield too. For such a low mana cost, this card provides an insane amount of value and is a must play in every Mirim deck. Lastly, number 1, Scourge of Valkis has, when it or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. For 5 mana, you get that ability on a 4/4 flyer with fire breathing. If you have 4 dragons on board, including Mirim, and play Scourge of Valkis, you can deal 5 damage to any target. Then its token copy comes into play from Mirim's trigger and deals another 6 damage. Scourge of Valkis gives you multiple ways to threaten life totals. Being a dragon and a 4/4 flyer pairs extremely well with the Tarka and Bower passage. It deals damage when it or another dragon comes into play, and with Mirim you can have 2 or more. And you can pump this power through the freaking ceiling. This dragon encompasses all the deck wants to do in a single card and is my top pick for your Mirim Sentinel Wurm Commander deck. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this Commander Spotlight from Mirim Sentinel Wurm, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. If there's another Commander you want to have the spotlight, let me know in the comments below. And if you like these cards, check out my budget deck list in the description. I'm Jason Kahn from Commander MTG. That's Commander with a K. I'll see you in the next one.